Hi everybody, it's Joey Remenyi here from seekingbalance.com.au. I'm a vestibular audiologist and neuroplasticity therapist with a specific interest in helping people with chronic vertigo, chronic dizziness, chronic disequilibrium, or chronic tinnitus recover using neuroplasticity. Today, I am really blessed and excited. This is my favorite part of my career, which is to share recovery stories, human stories, real human experience with the world, because I actually believe there's too many stories of there's no cure, you can't get rid of this, and all the negative hopelessness. There's too much of that on the internet, and I really love to balance that out with some real human stories of actually, yes, you can do something about this and you can heal, and this is what it looks like for me. So today I want to introduce you all to Elizabeth, who's calling in from the United States. Welcome to the call.
Thank you, Joey. So nice to see you.
I know, it's just really beautiful to reconnect with you and to learn what you're up to. And thank you for being brave and courageous. Every human story matters. Every human voice counts. And when I go through these stories of healing and recovery, what I would love you to do is just share, if you can, where you started and what you were feeling initially. So before you even met me and before you started Rocksteady or Beautiful Balance. And if you could just share with the listeners, what were you feeling in your life, in your body? What was the daily grind for you at that point in time? And your diagnosis, if you have one. I know not everybody has one.
Well, it all started last year, 2017, in October. I'm a cosmetologist, and I cut hair for a living. And I also was working out a lot. I was doing Pilates, going to the gym. And one day I woke up and it felt kind of funny, you know. I've felt this before in the past, where kind of lightheaded, but, you know, after a few hours or after a day or two, it would go away. I took myself to Pilates, and I was doing Pilates, and all of a sudden I felt a little vertigo, and I said, oh, that's, you know, I've had it before, it's going to go away. But after that, the vertigo went away, and I was lightheaded for a day, 2 days. A week went by, and I started getting worried, and my anxiety level raised, and I said, oh my gosh, what is happening to me? I started getting so sick. I don't know if I just made myself sicker by thinking there's something wrong with me, I'm dying, I have a tumor, it was awful. It was awful. I stopped doing things, I stopped talking to people, I quit working out. I mean, this all happened within 2 weeks of feeling horrible.
Which is actually quite normal, I want to say. Like, you know, your body is giving you genuine error signals. You're genuinely getting messages to your brain, which are the vertigo movement. How did it feel for you? Was it like a rocking movement, or?
It felt like, God, and it was so hard to explain it. It felt like I was in a bubble.
Yeah.
You know, I felt like I was on drugs all day long, tranquilizers.
And did you have any?
I rocked. It just felt like my head felt like it was so heavy.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of pressure in the back of my neck. It was awful.
It's really common for vestibular migraine, those symptoms.
Yes, which I didn't know at the time, you know, until you told me.
And so you went to the doctors and all of that, and what happened?
I went to the doctors one day, I made an appointment, I went to the doctors, and, you know, they did all the tests that they could, you know, blood pressure. They made me stand, sit, did all the blood work. And like most people, everything came back normal. But I went a couple of times. I didn't just go once. I went in October. Actually, I went twice in October. And then they started sending me to specialists, cardiologists, neurologists. And everyone pretty much said the same until I went to an ENT. And the ENT said, there's really nothing wrong with you. You're probably just off balance. And I said, well, how do I get better? Oh, well, you might not get better, or you may want to, you know, talk to other people with the same problem and talk to them. Well, I was so anxious that I said, forget it. I'm not going to the doctors anymore. I started doing my own research. And of course, like everyone, I went through so many until I ran into one of your videos, and it helped me greatly.
And that was the Calming the Storm interview I did?
That was the Calming the Storm, yes. I said, you know what, I'm just going to try it out. I'm going to listen to it. And it opened something up. I said, you know what, I'm just going to give it a try. And I started listening to all the videos, and your voice was so soothing. I loved you from the very first day. I was like, wow. Even my husband said, oh my God, she put you to sleep last night. You didn't even finish her video. And that's how it all started. I said, she's going to help me. And
so can you remember, because I remember when you first contacted me and emailed me, and I could definitely connect with your anxiety, and you were, I think, experiencing quite a lot of helplessness and hopelessness thoughts, which was really reflected in the way you were wording your emails. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you were like? Where were you at that point in your life when it was, you were just starting the program, or just thinking like, oh my God, can I ever get better? In fact, I think you mentioned you watched a bunch of other people's recovery stories. What
yes.
headspace were you in back then? Obviously you're in a completely different space now, but talk through that initial decision making process.
I was so lost, Joey. I felt like my life wasn't even my life anymore. I thought, that's it, I'm done. I cried almost every day. And it wasn't like I cried almost every day. It was all day long.
Wow.
I mean, making people around me kind of miserable after a while. They were like, what's going on? You'll be fine. You're just, maybe it's depression. I mean, it could have, I still don't know from this day really 100%. I stopped wanting to know, because that was a problem too. Wanting to know, what is it that I have? What is it that I have? Until, like I started your program. Your program was an eye-opening for me. It was fantastic.
Yeah, well, you did so well. And so what was the, yeah, you take that.
Turn it off.
And so I know you also consulted a neurologist.
I did. Finally, after 3 months, they didn't want to schedule me an appointment with a neurologist. They said I didn't need it, but I kept insisting until they finally did.
I think I encouraged you to do that because
you did. You wanted to make sure that there was really nothing, So
yeah.
They requested an MRI first, obviously. So I did that. That came back clear.
Thank goodness.
He was kind of concerned too. He says, I want you to still come back to me and maybe we can talk further. So he thought a little bit the same as what you had said, something about migraines, because he asked me what my past history was with my health. And I had migraines almost since I was 14. Yeah. And after I developed this lightheadedness, the pain migraine never felt anymore. Like, I didn't even know if I was even having a migraine anymore. I still don't get them anymore. It's really weird. I get dizzy instead. So
yeah, it's a different.
But you had said,
yes,
I have vestibular migraine. And so
just for people listening, vestibular migraine is like a quirky version of migraine, because they often call it invisible or silent, because you don't get your classic headaches.
Correct.
And people will often say, I feel like I've got pressure in my head, or my brain's turned into a cloud, or they'll say, they get discombobulated. They feel vague versions of spinning or dizziness. It's not necessarily like nystagmus in the eyes, which is where your eyes flicker, which is the real classic vertigo. So it's more of an internal pressure at the back of the neck, back of the head, strain in the eyes, but no actual headache. And it's because the migraine is impacting the nerve fibers between the inner ears and the brainstem, the midbrain, the various areas of the brain we need for balance. And when we're going through the migraine, we feel really upset, really disconnected, symptomatic, and then it can actually pass and resolve. And for some people, they never quite snap out of it. So even between attacks or between migraines, they're not quite returning back to normal. They're not getting that baseline balance back. And that's where the rock steady process comes in, to retrain the brain and to reset and recalibrate back to normal.
Absolutely.
How long did it take? Can you remember? So there's 6 modules in Rocksteady, and you also opted to do some private therapy with me as well, which I think was a really smart idea on your behalf, because it helped you go through different layers of healing. But how long until you felt some relief, until you felt like, oh my God, I'm getting this, like until you finally felt like you were on the healing journey instead of the pain journey?
It was quite interesting, because when I first started doing it, I was always anxious when we had our meeting date, and I said, I wanted to make sure that you were happy with my progress, but I wasn't feeling that much progress. But until maybe the 4th month, I think I remember telling you, I had a good day yesterday, or I had a good week, and you were happy and I was happy because it actually started happening. I could explain it right now, but I don't want to. I think if someone really needed it, they can join the program. The program was wonderful. It helped me realize that there's days that you're going to be feeling bad, not right. And then there's days you're going to be feeling strong and positive. And I think that's what started happening. I started believing in myself.
Yeah.
Symptoms. I hated my symptoms at first. I didn't want them. I wanted them out. So the more I wanted them out, the more I was feeling that way.
The more resistance, the resistance really builds the symptoms. So both for vertigo and tinnitus. And I remember you emailed me once saying, "Oh my God, my tinnitus is gone. I just can't hear it." Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember. I think it was before I fell asleep, and I tapped my husband. And I said, "Oh my God, I don't hear it." And then, of course, it came back. But that's right. I have tinnitus as well. That came on a month after my lightheadedness, which was something kind of crazy. But I don't even hear that anymore. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Yes, it's there. I know it's there, but it's like, it's part of me now. I actually enjoy it.
Well, the other thing is all of these,
I enjoy it.
All of these body sensations, whether they be our dizziness, like our unsteadiness, our imbalance, or our tinnitus, technically speaking, those neural patterns and neural fibers, they live inside of us. Like they're there 24/7. And it's not like a splinter in your toe that you pull out and remove. So they're kind of a part of our neural settings. And as you say, they're a part of our wholeness. And when we don't notice them and don't feel them, and it's perceived that they're not there and they disappeared, they're actually still there. They're just silently sitting there and kind of not activated. It's like they're asleep.
Absolutely.
But they are always there, and we don't need to get rid of them. They're just a part of our brain network. And when we learn how to fire our steadiness pathways and our calm and our self-love and all of the peacefulness, those adjacent pathways start to be stimulated, activated, and more strengthened, which means they're the things we're feeling more often in daily life. And then the symptoms, such as the tinnitus and vertigo, they become comparatively weaker and less active. And you've actually gone through that experience, right?
Yes. When I first felt the tinnitus or heard it, I was watching TV one night, and I said, "Uh-oh, there's something going on. There's a bee in my head," because mine is in the form of like static.
Yeah, actually mine too.
And every time I heard it or I felt it, I actually felt dizzier. Like I felt, I'm going to throw up. I felt like my head was going to blow up. But now when I do realize it's there, or of course, when I go to bed, it's there. It's always there. It's like my sister saying good night to me, I feel that pressure. I don't feel that dizziness, just part of me now. And, I deal with it. It's beautiful. It's actually great because it really doesn't, it's not there. That's the thing. It's not there. I don't feel like I used to.
And I think this is a new concept that I always encourage my private therapy clients to step into, which you've done now and you've probably forgotten, Elizabeth. But there's a big difference between considering something a symptom and noticing a sensation. A sensation is a normal phenomena in your body that you feel, such as if I was to, touch my microphone here or hold my sunglasses, I'm feeling sensation in my body. That's not a symptom. It's just a normal sensation. And so if we start to feel our changing sensations of, movement, like you can have dancing movements in your body and have these sensations of flow and micro adjustments. You can notice sensations or hear sensations of sound, and they're not perceived in any way, shape, or form as abnormal or wrong or to be avoided or to be worried about. And so they can really open us up to a whole new spectrum of feeling, because inside of our inner world, there is so much happening, and often we numb ourselves because we think, oh, well, I should only feel this. This is what I'm allowed to feel, and this is it. But once we take away that judgment and we actually open up to more of ourselves, we learn more about ourselves and we feel more of our experience, and we welcome it in with curiosity and with gratitude and acceptance and awe, like AWE. And I think that's really, you've demonstrated that really well. That's what I've witnessed in you, which has been a delight. And the truth is when I start working with clients and people say, oh my God, what's my future hold? Have you seen anyone like me before? Can I get better? And I have to say to people, look, I can't predict your future, but I do know that the one critical ingredient in your recovery is self-belief. If you don't believe it's possible, it's near impossible that your neurons will change. Like, it has to come from the inside and through a capacity and a willingness to feel and a willingness to change. And you have to believe in yourself and support yourself through that process to let your neural networks actually adjust. And I think for too many people out there, and I'd be interested to hear your perspective on this too, Elizabeth, for too many people out there, we're too quickly diagnosed and told, oh, you've got depression, or you've got anxiety,
Yes.
or you've got this, you've got that, like, go home and deal with it. That's who you are now. And that's actually limiting you. And it's not enabling you to explore the capacity for change and for resolution and for growth. Because I actually believe sometimes going through the darkest, difficult, most horrible feelings and days is part of our healing. So it's like you've almost got to go into the hole before you can come out.
Absolutely.
And so
And that's where I was stuck.
Yeah. And so
I was so scared.
yeah. And so what were some of the things how has your relationship to yourself changed in going through this diagnostic process, through this symptomatic process, and through this healing process? How has your relationship to yourself changed?
Well, just to finish that off, yes, I remember going to ENT and them telling me, when I told them I have the ringing in the ear, and they're like, oh, okay, well, I do too. So many people do. You're just going to have to deal with it. With time, you'll adjust. And of course, it made me feel like, oh my God, I have no hope. This is going to be easy. But when I started your program and you told me that it wasn't deadly and that I can live with it and accept it, it was fantastic. So that's what I started doing. At first I hated it, and I hated myself. I hated myself. I was so depressed. I thought I wasn't worthy. I said, I probably did this to myself. Maybe I am depressed. Maybe I'm not good enough, and your program taught me that that's not the way it's supposed to be. And I knew this. We all know this. We know this.
But when we're in
our DNA, we know how to love ourselves, but we don't know how.
And we're often there's not that role modeling, because often our parents or even our teachers have really not necessarily had integrity or sovereignty in their own decisions and in their own sense of self-love and self-worth and self-acceptance. And so we've been watching people before us kind of put themselves last and do things for other people. And then it's almost like this martyrdom.
It's true.
And then we put ourselves in the back of the queue and we start doing things for other people. So we become super mums for our children, and we become super partners for our partners. And we end up suffering, and our health can suffer, and our mind, body, soul connection can become really disjointed.
I started doing things for me. It was okay to say no, and okay to say, today I'm going to rest. And it was okay to say, I'm not going to go to work today because I'm not feeling good. Before it would be, I can't.
I have to
go to work, or what are they going to say? What are they going to think? And so even though it was a depressing time because I was laying on the couch or the bed a lot because I was trying to feel sorry for myself, I decided it's okay to lay on the couch and in the bed, but feel sorry for yourself. Accept it and love yourself, because this is the time you need for you to understand that maybe you need to wake up and find yourself. So I started finding myself. I started really liking myself again. I still do. And I don't think I'll ever stop, because I love myself.
That's so beautiful. Did you feel like it was a bit of a rebirthing process? Like you were rebirthing into a whole new version of you?
I have to say yes. That's exactly. I feel like I'm the new little girl.
Yeah.
That you go back to, and now I'm together with her, and we're living a great life. We're twins, we're together. She's invisible, but I love her.
We all have our own inner child, and I feel that when we talk about healing,
I forgot about her. That was the problem.
Well, we kind of we're trained out of it, aren't we? Like, it's like in life and society, it's like, come on, you got to be happy, you got to buy this product, you got to earn this money, you got to lose this weight, you got to do this and push through, and don't take time off, because if you take time off, you're lazy and you're too sensitive and blah blah blah. So the world's giving us all this messaging, and it's highly confusing because it's not serving our greatest good. And deep down, there's that voice inside of us. It's like, I know I need to do something differently. I know I need to change. And it's absolutely understandable if you're listening to this and you're thinking, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to become like Elizabeth. And that's you know, it's like saying you just want to play the piano suddenly. Of course you don't know how to play the piano. You need to get a teacher. You need to have a method and a process to teach your fingers how to do that. And healing and finding steadiness and cultivating new neural networks in your brain and using neuroplasticity is an art form and a skill base. And yes, you can learn it, but you will only get started when you feel ready enough to actually click on rock steady and get started.
Absolutely.
You know, it starts by you being ready. And I think it's just a huge credit to, you know, every single person who I've ever interviewed on these recovery case studies. You guys have done it. You know, it's not me doing the work. I'm providing a resource for you and a safe, loving container for you to explore. However,
I think down deep inside, I was so anxious. Like I kept saying to myself, it's not fair. Life is not fair. I want to be like I was before, like I was a month ago. But I stopped saying that with your program. Your program helped me not say that anymore, because we're not going to go back to what we were. We're going to
impossible.
Our new lives now in a beautiful way. And it became beautiful. I mean, I have tinnitus. Ooh la la, it's beautiful. You know? At least I'm not bored. I have something to entertain me.
Yeah, you're not bored. And I've heard of people saying that once they can't hear their tinnitus anymore, they actually feel nude. They feel naked. They're like, oh my God, I got so used to having that walk around with me all day long that once it disappeared,
you said it. I'm like, where is it? I want it back.
Yeah. But I think, you know, it's for those people out there listening and going, I hate my tinnitus, I'll never love my tinnitus, just let yourself be there where you are at that point.
I was there. There.
We've all been there. I mean, I had distressing tinnitus and I was freaking out and super worried it was going to destroy my life. And I had to find a way to shift my perspective. So now, if and when I notice my tinnitus, which is intermittent and not very often, I pretty much always, it comes back to, well, either I've been doing a bunch of handstands and I've been upside down, or doing intense back bends, which makes the blood flow around the ears change quality and sound.
Correct.
Which is just normal. Or it means I need an early night, I need to hydrate, I need to check in on my diet, I need to check in on some of my physical self-care needs. And so it's like a nice little reminder. It's like the canary in the mine. And
it's so true.
And that can help me stay tuned in. So I have like this really loving symbiotic relationship with my tinnitus, and it comes and goes as it needs to.
Yeah.
And I let it. So for those of you out there who are thinking, I have to get rid of it, I hate it, all of this, your healing is going to be a very long, painful process if you continue with that attitude. But at the end of the day, if that's where you are today, then you need to support yourself in that mind frame until you're ready to go, okay, well, maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a different approach. Maybe I can learn to allow those sensations to be there and learn to rebirth myself and change my neural settings in a way that dramatically impacts my whole life. It's not about getting rid of tinnitus. This is about actually rebirthing me as a person and my relationship to myself. That's good. Yeah. So Elizabeth, if you could speak any words of encouragement or wisdom to people who are listening, who are thinking like, I don't think I can do this, I don't believe in healing, if you could put in your words what neuroplasticity felt like to you. So when you're actually going through the changes and feeling it, could you describe to them what it feels like to actually go through that internal change?
Oh gosh, yeah, it's almost what you want from the beginning, and you can't wait till that moment again of, oh, I feel so good today, you know. And I would encourage you not to seek for it so fast and so hard. Just accept what you're going through at the moment, because that's going to happen at first. You're going to want to wake up and feel nothing, no vertigo, no lightheadedness, no sounds in your ear. When I started accepting it, that's when I started feeling better. But the most important is to do the program and to do the exercises, because that'll make you go in advance on your own. Not saying how long is it going to take, and it will take a long time if you don't do it. I mean, this program is fantastic. If you all just listen, seriously, I've been through it. It helped me. Try it. I mean, you can't lose anything except yourself if you don't do it. It's just beautiful. It's great, and I'm still doing it. I'm still going through it. I still with your program in my head. It's fantastic.
Well, they're really life skills, and everything in my program I've gone through and I've done. Like I've really explored this deeply, and it's not a theoretical program. It's really a heart-based, compassion-based
Yes.
program. Curious how, just for people who are listening and thinking like, oh, I don't have enough time, I'm working and I've got kids. How much time realistically did you invest into your healing each day in terms of like actual exercises, whether that be tapping or writing or physical exercises? How much time a day did you need to really see the benefits and feel the benefits?
Well, at the beginning, I wanted to heal, but I didn't want to do any of the exercises. And I'll be honest, I just didn't want to. I wanted to do the program. I did the program, but then I felt like, oh, I'm not going to get better until it clicks, it hits you, and you're like, well, hell, I'm in this program. Why not do the exercises? And it probably 3 times a day, I would wake up. That would be the first thing. I would do my vestibular exercises. I loved doing those in the morning with my head, the head, and then writing my feelings on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone has their own. The tapping, I really liked it, but I didn't do it much. I did it more with you, and I liked doing it together with you.
It's powerful, yeah.
Yeah, it's more powerful doing it with a team, or with a partner.
Yeah.
Mainly it was getting up, feeling what I was feeling, the sensations, and going on with the day instead of turning around and going back to bed.
So yeah, and
no way I was doing that.
That's probably actually the most important take-home message is, unless we're willing to feel what we're feeling and actually take that with us to our Pilates class, or take that with us as we go to the kitchen and cook, or take that with us as we go and watch our children do their theater performance in their school play, right? We have to be able to feel it and love ourselves as we make really heartfelt, gentle choices in life. Because sometimes the best thing you can do is to spend a day in bed and love yourself as you do that, right? And call in your support team, get people to cook you a meal, get people to vacuum your house. Like sometimes that is the most loving decision for you. And other days, staying in bed is damaging. Like it's actually not helping, and it's an avoidance behavior.
There's 2 things. You can stay in bed and love yourself, or stay in bed and feel sorry for yourself. And at the beginning, whoever's listening, of course, you're going to feel sorry for yourself. But if you start loving yourself like I did, and I started thinking, oh my God, I quit Pilates. It's been 4 months. And it took me 4 months to realize I got to go back to it.
You had to build
that I have this condition, this, it's not even a condition. It's a new thing in my body. They know, if you're honest with your trainers or with your gym or just yourself, you won't do the full exercise. My Pilates instructor was great. She's like, hey, when you can't do anymore, you don't do anymore. So when she encouraged me to come back as well, I started making my appointments again, and I'm going twice a week again. So I'm very excited.
And it's really great to know that you don't have to be 100% every day. Like some days you might just go and do what you would consider a 50% class, and that could be perfect for you. And to really love yourself in that decision to slow down and to feel and to not be generic. A generic yoga class or Pilates class or any form of class is not going to be perfectly suited to you every day. Like that's just impossible.
And it's with everything, not just exercise.
Correct. And so really giving yourself permission to think, what does my mind need today? What does my body need today? What does my soul and my heart need today? And really custom build your life to make choices that nurture you. And that is a skill set. And in the beginning, it's confusing, isn't it? It's like, oh my God, well, I don't know what's right for me. I don't know. And we want someone else to give us the answer. And so
I was confused. I had no idea. I'm like, what do I do next? What door should I open?
Yeah. And so how can you remember the turning point when suddenly you were like, oh, okay, I get it now. I don't even need to ask Joey. I don't even need to ask somebody else. When did you start to realize, oh, I think I'm getting the hang of this and I can take care of it?
There was a few moments when you did make sure to let us know that they weren't symptoms, they were sensations. That was big for me. I don't know other people tell you, but it was big because I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's just a sensation. It's not going to kill me. I have to learn how to accept. It's me. It's with me. It's my body. If it's with me and it's not going to kill me, then it's a precious thing.
Yeah.
That was major for me. I think that was, everyone has their own. That was really a big thing for me. Yeah. That's when I knew that it could change. And it did. It started changing. And you told me, get out of that hole. You can do it. You're not stuck. And I started saying, you know what? Remember that we had a meeting once, and I told you I was in a cold, dark well.
Yeah.
And I never forget that. There was the ladder, but I couldn't get out of it. And you're like, yeah, try to get out. You can do it. I know you can, because it's open. You can get out. Nobody's holding you down. And I started doing
belief. It's self-belief. If we don't believe in ourselves, we don't open those doors. We don't ask those questions. We don't make those choices. And I suppose I had the belief that you had the belief, and then you
and I didn't rush it either.
Belief.
And I didn't rush it. Once I knew that I can love myself, because that was a big deal too. I very insecure about myself. I let myself go for years. Like, what happened to that positive girl that I used to be? So once I started doing that, I was like, you know what? This can happen. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. I gotta be happy again. I want to be happy. I'm the smiley kind of person. I like to joke around and, go out with friends and go to the park and walk my dogs. And I wasn't doing that. And I was like, what's wrong with me? Why am I changing my life? I'm not going to change my life. I'm going to tell my sensations that it's okay.
Yeah.
That's what I started doing. It sounds funny at first. Yeah. Some people were probably like, oh, I'm not going to do that. That's so dumb.
I actually just emailed one of my private clients this morning and said, by the way, this does feel weird at first. So
yes,
if it feels weird, you're right on track.
Because you think, oh, what does she know, right? But no, you know, and we know. You're making us understand that we know. We don't know that we know until you tell us you know.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the whole point of self-realization and awakening. It's a very personal process. It's different for everybody. You are going to need a support team. So you need to reach out and find people out there who are not judging you, are not rushing you, definitely not labeling you. Just stay away from people who are diagnosing you with mold allergies or, all of this and all of that.
That's going to happen.
And it's like they will keep on trying to kind of keep you on that search for the external cure, and it's not that they're not trying to help you or do the right thing by you, is what I'm saying, but it can be very misleading when your healing has to happen within you. It's like,
I was just going to say that the answer is within you. That's it. There's no other way of putting it. It's within.
And be really conscious of blaming it on external things. Like, I've heard people have Chinese medicine doctors say it's some, meridian that's blocked, or it's a liver condition, or it's a mold allergy, or it's a leaky gut, or it's a TMJ.
I could go on forever.
It's the TMJ jaw thing, or it's your neck causing. It's like, no, you're a whole being with a body, mind, and soul, with a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual
it is
interaction, and it's never one thing causing it, right? And I'm not devaluing a healthy diet and being really conscious of what we're exposing ourselves to.
We don't want to be a little healthier in life.
Chemicals, but just to really not invalidate your power and potency to heal from the inside, and to make choices for yourself rather than have other people boss you around or play the expert. You are the expert in you and your healing. Nobody else knows you better than you. And until you step into that place of taking ownership and taking your power back, it's very unlikely your healing is going to occur. And that is why I built the self-study program, so you can do that in your own time and you can learn in ways that you choose, because there are no rules, are there? It's like you can't do the program wrong. You just use it as you feel you need to use it.
I think if you learn exactly what neuroplasticity means, because some people will say neuroplasticity, okay, rewiring your brain, but it's not really that. If you really learn what that word is, it starts happening. It's amazing. You actually feel it.
Yeah, totally. You do.
You feel it. You're like,
it's like little fireworks in your body.
I wish I can, like you said to me, I wish I had a magic pill for you. I wish I had that for but the only way you'll learn is by doing it yourself and loving yourself. So I think that's the most important. That's all in this life. If we don't have love for ourselves, we're going to feel miserable all the time.
Or we'll be seeking for other people to make us feel loved. So we'll be putting it on the external world. We'll be like, oh, I need to buy more of this because I'm not happy, so I need to buy more stuff.
Right.
which is really a huge marketing success. I mean, it's amazing how successful the commercial world really is at making us not love ourselves, so we buy more things.
That's right.
So that's, something to really be aware of, because we're all impacted. So thank you so much for sharing your beautiful story. I'm so pleased to see you come to your strengths. I do remember when
Joey, thank you.
when you look different now. Like, you looked weaker, and you looked probably even older. Like, you look younger now. You look more vibrant. You look like your vitality's come back.
That scared me too, because I would look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, this is not me. This is not who I am. Thank you. I know, I feel great.
So I want to invite everyone to join our Rocksteady for Vertigo and Tinnitus Facebook group. That is a community of people who are interested in neuroplasticity and interested in learning how they can heal from the inside. I'm in there frequently, sharing my own journey and connecting with other people. To get started with your healing, I highly recommend you look into the Rocksteady program. It's a 12-week self-study program, and you can find that at seekingbalance.com.au. If you feel you want private therapy support to guide you through the healing in a more intensive and supportive way, I do offer private therapy for people who are seeking that kind of personal support. That's my Beautiful Balance program, which you're also welcome to look into and reach out and apply if you want to work with me privately, as Elizabeth has done.
Oh my God, you will love her.
Thank you. This is really good for my confidence. I'm like, I'll just have to say thank you sometimes. What can you do? So I want to say again, thank you for your bravery and your courage in sharing your story. And I actually do remember when you felt really hesitant about sharing your case study, and you've really blossomed in this time. And
Yes, I was a little hesitant, but I want to help people like your recovery stories with other clients helped me, because that did help me as well.
Yeah, no, well, humans help humans. And for everybody out there listening, you are going to have your own recovery story, completely unique, completely personal. No one else can go through it for you, and no one else can do it for you. No one can go into your head and change your neurons. It's something you have to do by shifting your mindset, shifting your beliefs, and physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually opening new doors and new opportunities for healing. It's methodical, it's practical, it's gentle, and the resources are there for you whenever you're ready. So I really hope that this case study interview reaches all the people who need to hear it. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I love having you in our Seeking Balance community.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to be with you guys. I'm never gonna stop. I'm always gonna stay with you guys.
Yeah,
so,
no,
again, I'm here for you.
Yeah, and you are pretty active in the Facebook group too, so people can reach out. And you speak Spanish, right?
I actually have recommended your program to a lot of people. So I'm hoping they reached out to you. That would be nice.
Yeah, I get that a lot, and thank you. It's great to spread the word. And for those of you, or if anyone's out there and you more prefer to speak Spanish, I know Elizabeth speaks Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish, but I think it's good to just be able to get support in ways that you need it. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so reach out, and I will see you at seekingbalance.com.au. I'm here if you need to talk with me. And I really hope everybody listening to this finds a way for healing, find the support you need, and more than anything else, believe in yourself so that you can rediscover who you are and rebirth yourself and use the potent power of your brain, because it really is way more powerful than you realize, I promise you. So on that note, thank you so much, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Joey.
And bye for now, everybody.